Back. Imagine this. You stop chasing, and suddenly everything that once ran from you starts finding its way back. The love, the peace, the opportunities, all of it. Because here's the truth, it back. What's real doesn't run when you rest. It doesn't test your worth. It responds to your energy. The moment you stop begging to be chosen and start standing in your value, you become magnetic. Back. So let me ask you, are you chasing what's real or running after the illusion of it? When something is real, it carries a stillness with it, a quiet certainty that doesn't need to be advertised, defended, or chased. Back. It doesn't demand that you perform, overextend, or constantly question whether you are enough. Real things, whether that's love, friendship, purpose, or opportunity, don't play games with your peace. Back. They feel stable, grounding, and expansive all at once. They don't create anxiety in your body. They calm it. You don't find yourself walking on eggshells, fearing that one wrong move will make it disappear. Back. The truth is, chasing is a symptom of scarcity, a deep-rooted belief that what's meant for you might slip away if you don't run after it hard enough. But what's real never needs to be chased. Back, because its nature is to stay. It doesn't fear being seen, and it doesn't make you question your place in it. We grow up in a world that teaches us to equate effort with worth, as if the harder we push back, the more we deserve something. We've been told that if it doesn't come easy, it must be valuable, and if it feels peaceful, it must be too good to be true. But that conditioning is what keeps people running on emotional treadmills, always chasing validation, acceptance, or love, without realizing that peace is the proof of alignment. Real connections, real opportunities, back. Real love. They don't ask you to abandon yourself to keep them. They invite you to come home to yourself. They make you feel secure without needing to perform for reassurance. They meet you where you are, and not where you have to pretend to be. And in that sense, real things are not loud or dramatic. They are steady, honest, and enduring. We often chase because we've mistaken motion for meaning. We think if we're moving back, we're progressing. If we're pursuing, we're valuable. But chasing is not the same as striving. One comes from alignment, the other from anxiety. When you're aligned, your actions come from clarity and conviction. Back when you're anxious, your actions come from fear of loss. Real things don't thrive in the presence of fear. They grow in the presence of trust. When it's real, you don't have to check your phone 100 times, question your place, or wonder if it's slipping away. You trust it because it shows up consistently. You don't need to chase consistency, you recognize it. The truth is, chasing drains you of your energy back, while realness refuels you. That's how you can tell the difference. It's not that real things don't require effort, they do. But effort is different from chasing. Effort is a mutual investment. Chasing is a one-sided pursuit. When it's real, both sides show up. You don't have to overcompensate or beg for energy that should be reciprocated. Back, you don't have to convince anyone to see your worth when it's already evident to those who are meant to see it. This applies to relationships, friendships, work, and even self-purpose. Back. You can't force real things to happen. You can only align yourself with them by being authentic. The more you chase what's fake, the further you drift from what's true. When something is genuine, back. It meets you halfway. It doesn't run from you when you stop running toward it. Authenticity is the foundation of everything real. The reason so many people find themselves chasing is because they're wearing masks. Back. They're performing roles they think will make them more lovable, more marketable, or more accepted. But here's the paradox: pretending to be something you're not only attracts what's not meant for you. Back. You can't attract what's real while living from something false. When you show up as your truest self, what's meant for you recognizes you instantly. Back. You stop needing to chase because what's yours is drawn to your truth, not your performance. Realness attracts realness. And the moment you commit to being fully yourself, back, you start noticing how everything fake naturally falls away. When you no longer chase, you create room for discernment. You begin to notice the difference between what feeds your soul and what feeds your ego. Back, the ego wants attention, validation, and recognition. It thrives on the chase. But your soul seeks peace, purpose, and depth. It thrives on alignment. Chasing things from your ego always leaves you empty because it's built on external approval. You might get the person, the job, or the recognition, but if it's not aligned, it never feels fulfilling. It back. When it's real, it nourishes you. You feel at peace even in uncertainty because the connection is grounded in truth, not illusion. Realness allows you to stop living reactively and start living intentionally. In relationships, this truth becomes painfully clear. When you have to chase someone's attention, affection, or commitment, you're already negotiating your value. Real love doesn't need to be convinced. It recognizes you. It chooses you without confusion. It doesn't make you guess where you stand, and it doesn't withdraw affection as punishment. Back, the same applies to opportunities. Real ones don't vanish when you pause to breathe. They don't punish you for not being perfect. They wait for your readiness, not your desperation. When you understand this, back, you stop trying to force outcomes and start trusting timing. You begin to see that peace as a form of protection. It keeps you away from what's not real. Back. The hardest part about accepting realness is letting go of what's not. Most people cling to the idea of something instead of facing the truth that it's not meant for them. We chase the fantasy of what could be, back, not the reality of what is. But letting go of what's fake makes space for what's real. You can't hold on to illusions and expect authenticity to walk in back. The more you release your grip on what's forcing you to chase, the more magnetic you become to what flows naturally. It's not about giving up. It's about growing up. It back. It's about realizing that real things don't need to be chased because what's real is already running toward you too. There's freedom in not chasing. Back, freedom in knowing that your worth isn't tied to how much effort you exert trying to be chosen. The people, opportunities, and experiences meant for you won't make you prove your value. They'll remind you of it. Back. They'll make you feel more like yourself, not less. When you internalize that truth, you stop settling for almost maybes and someday. You start honoring your peace as the ultimate evidence of what's real. Back. And that's when your energy shifts from chasing to attracting, from proving to becoming. Because when it's real, you don't have to chase it. You just have to recognize it, trust it, and allow it to unfold. Back. Chasing isn't always about what you want. It's often about what you fear losing. We chase people's dreams and validation not because they are necessarily meant for us, but because we are terrified that if we stop running, we'll be left behind. That fear keeps us in motion, confusing exhaustion with effort and chaos with purpose. But the truth is, it back. What's meant for you doesn't require you to chase it. It meets you where you are. When you're secure in your identity, your energy stops leaking into everything that's not aligned with you. Back. You no longer need to prove your value or constantly earn someone's attention. You realize that chasing is a reflection of scarcity, not necessity. I trust myself to take it back. You start to see that when it's real, when it's rooted in mutual respect, opportunity, or connection, it doesn't flee when you stop pursuing. It stays because it recognizes the calm, not the chaos. Most people misunderstand chasing as ambition, but the two are not the same. Ambition is grounded. It comes from clarity, direction, and purpose. Chasing, on the other hand, comes from fear of being overlooked, a fear of being unwanted, fear of being forgotten. We chase because we think stillness means stagnation, but sometimes stillness is strength. When you're grounded, get back. You no longer have to scramble for recognition or rush outcomes. You realize that things of value take time, and what's truly aligned with you won't demand you abandon yourself to keep it. This understanding builds quiet confidence, the kind that Leila Hormozi often speaks about, where self-assurance doesn't need to be loud or desperate. Take it back. The chase fades because you no longer need external proof to validate your worth. You become anchored instead of anxious. The reason chasing feels exhausting is because it's rooted in insecurity. Get back. Every time you chase something, you're subconsciously telling yourself that you're not enough for it to stay without your constant pursuit. You end up trying to outperform your insecurity instead of addressing it. Back. But no amount of chasing can compensate for a lack of self-trust. When you know who you are and what you bring, you stop running after people or opportunities that don't see your value. Back. You understand that rejection isn't failure, it's redirection. You stop mistaking attention for respect and motion for progress. You begin to separate your identity from your outcomes, realizing that the energy you give to the wrong things is energy stolen from what's meant for you. That shift in mindset transforms everything. Chasing is a habit that thrives on inconsistency. It feeds on uncertainty. Back. Keeping you hooked on what's unclear or unavailable. It's the same dynamic that makes people obsessed with mixed signals or uncertain goals, the dopamine hit of almost getting it back. But when you've built real self-worth, you no longer chase uncertainty. You crave stability. You recognize that real things are consistent. They don't require you to decode, beg, or bargain. They communicate clearly. Take it back. They show up consistently and they bring peace instead of confusion. That's when you stop confusing excitement with alignment. Because what excites your ego might drain your soul. It back. And what calms your soul might not look glamorous, but it's real. Chasing stops when you finally understand that peace is more valuable than adrenaline. In relationships, back. Chasing often shows up as overextending, being too available, over-explaining, or constantly trying to prove your worth. You think that if you give more, you'll finally be enough. But real love, real connection, back, doesn't need convincing. When it's real, it reciprocates. It doesn't make you feel small for showing up fully. It doesn't punish you for needing clarity or consistency. And when you stop chasing back, you start to notice who still shows up when you stand still. That's how you find what's genuine. Because people who truly value you won't disappear when you stop performing for them. They'll match your energy back, not exploit it. They'll stay not because you're chasing, but because they choose to. In your career or purpose, chasing can manifest as constantly seeking validation from outcomes, titles, achievements, recognition. Back. You hustle not from inspiration, but from fear of insignificance. You measure your worth in metrics instead of meaning. But when you're operating from alignment, your effort becomes sustainable. You stop running after quick wins and start building long-term value. You realize that impact matters more than applause. You no longer chase opportunities, you create them. You become magnetic because you're focused on mastery, not validation. The irony is that the moment you stop chasing recognition, that's when it finds you. It back. People can feel the difference between desperation and devotion, and they gravitate toward authenticity. Chasing also drains creativity because it's reactive. When you're in chase mode, back, you're always responding to someone else's pace, approval, or attention. You're not leading, you're following. But creativity, purpose, and growth thrive in space, not in pursuit. When you stop chasing You create that space. You start hearing your own thoughts again. You reconnect with your intuition, the part of you that knows what's right without needing permission. You begin to make decisions from clarity back, not fear. You start attracting opportunities that feel like a fit instead of a fight. That's when you realize you never had to chase what's real. It was waiting for you to slow down enough to see it. Back, there's a calm power in letting go of the chase. It's not giving up, it's growing up. It's recognizing that chasing is a distraction from your own growth. Back, the energy you waste trying to prove your worth could be spent becoming even more of yourself. Instead of chasing attention, you start cultivating presence. Instead of chasing validation, you start building value. Back, you become the person who doesn't need to chase because your energy naturally attracts the right people, opportunities, and outcomes. That's not arrogance, it's alignment. Back, you don't have to prove you're worthy of being chosen when you already live like you are. That kind of energy can't be faked. It's felt. The more you chase, the further you move from peace. But when you stop back, you discover something powerful. What's meant for you doesn't run away. It lingers. It waits. It aligns. You start to trust timing, not tension. It back. You begin to see that you can't force alignment. It either fits or it doesn't. When you stop chasing, you allow what's real to reveal itself. People's intentions become clearer. Opportunities show their true colors. You no longer confuse potential with promise. You become more selective, more intentional, more grounded. And that groundedness is what turns attraction into magnetism. Back. Because the things that are truly for you don't need to be chased. They're drawn to your authenticity, not your effort. When you understand that chasing is a reflection, not a requirement, everything shifts. Back. The things that used to consume you begin to lose their power. You stop pouring energy into proving, convincing, or earning. You start directing that energy inward into growth, clarity, and purpose. You learn that stillness isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's what allows you to see who and what deserves your attention. The moment you stop chasing, you start aligning. You become the kind of person who doesn't run after things, but draws them in effortlessly, not because you're lucky, but because you're ready. And readiness is what attracts the real. Every single time. Back, we live in a world that glorifies the chase, the constant pursuit of more, the obsession with doing, and the belief that stillness equals failure. But peace isn't passive, it's powerful. Back. It's the quiet confidence of knowing you don't have to prove anything to anyone. When something is real, it doesn't require performance. It allows presence. You don't need to constantly prove your value, back your loyalty, or your capability because it's already seen. When you choose peace over performance, you stop living for the applause and start living for alignment. You stop running toward validation and start walking toward authenticity. The world might not reward peace the way it rewards hustle, but peace sustains you long after performance burns you out. That's the real win. Sustainability over spectacle, depth over display. Performance is seductive because it feeds the ego. It tells you that if you do more, you'll be loved more. If you please everyone, it back, you'll finally be enough. But that illusion only leads to exhaustion. You become addicted to proving your worth through productivity, validation, or results. You start performing love, success, it back, and happiness instead of actually feeling them. The moment you stop performing, fear sets in. Fear that without the show, people won't stay. But real love, real opportunity, back, and real peace don't need your performance, they need your presence. When you stop acting, you make space for connection. When you stop trying to impress, you make space for truth, because real things don't ask for perfection. They ask for honesty. When you live for performance, your life becomes a constant audition. Every conversation feels like a test, every interaction a judgment, every relationship a negotiation of worth. You adapt, shrink, or exaggerate parts of yourself to be more likable, desirable, or accepted. But over time, you lose the very essence of who you are. Back. Peace begins where pretending ends. It's the point where you realize you don't have to win anyone over to deserve being seen. The people and opportunities meant for you will recognize you without the act. It back. That realization is liberation. It's the moment you stop hustling for belonging and start embodying it. When you walk in your truth, you attract what's meant for your truth, not your facade. Take it back. Peace is the byproduct of boundaries. It's the reward for saying no to what drains you and yes to what aligns with you. Back. But most people struggle with this because boundaries look like rejection in a world that equates business with value. You fear that if you say no, you'll lose something: approval, opportunity, love. Back. But boundaries don't push away what's real. They filter out what's not. They protect your energy so you can give it to what truly matters. When you start valuing your peace, back, you stop chasing chaos disguised as connection. You stop tolerating half effort, half truths, and half love. Because when it's real, it doesn't demand you sacrifice yourself to keep it. Back. It respects your limits because it values your presence more than your performance. Peace feels unfamiliar at first because it's quiet and we're conditioned to find comfort in noise. Back. We mistake the calm for boredom because chaos feels like home when that's all we've known. But peace isn't the absence of passion, it's the presence of clarity. It's not dull, it's deliberate. Back. It's knowing when to move and when to rest, when to speak and when to stay silent. It's trusting that you don't have to fight every battle to win your worth. When you finally experience real peace, back feels uncomfortable because you've spent so long surviving that stability feels suspicious. But the longer you sit in peace, the more you realize that this is what real alignment feels like. It's not adrenaline. Back, it's assurance. Peace isn't found by accident, it's built through choices. Every time you choose not to react, not to chase, not to perform, you strengthen your sense of self. You begin to see that peace doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing what's right for you, not what's expected of you. Back. It means letting go of control and trusting that what's meant for you won't need you to lose yourself to get it. When you prioritize peace, you move differently. Back. You stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You stop proving yourself to those who benefit from your insecurity. You start valuing quiet confidence over loud validation. Back. You realize that peace is power. It doesn't need to announce itself. It simply exists. Performance, on the other hand, is temporary. It gives you short bursts of approval, but long periods of emptiness. Back. You can only keep up the act for so long before it breaks you. You can fake confidence, but you can't fake peace. Real peace doesn't require an audience. It comes from knowing who you are when no one's watching. Back, it's waking up without anxiety about who you need to impress today. It's looking in the mirror and liking the person you see, not because they're flawless, but because they're real. When you live authentically, your life becomes simpler, not easier, but clearer. You stop seeking constant stimulation and start valuing stillness. And in that stillness, you finally find yourself. In relationships, peace shows up as mutual effort. Back. Honest communication and emotional safety. You don't have to perform perfection to be loved. You don't have to constantly chase reassurance because the connection itself provides it. Back. Real love feels like rest. It allows you to breathe. It's not about avoiding conflict. It's about resolving it with respect. You don't fear losing it because it's not built on conditions. When love is real, back, it doesn't drain you, it sustains you. You no longer equate drama with depth or passion with pain. You realize that the kind of love worth keeping is the one that feels peaceful, not performative. Because peace and love isn't boring, it's healing. In your purpose, peace shows up as clarity. You stop forcing outcomes and start trusting the process. Back. You no longer measure your value by how much you do, but by how aligned your actions are with your truth. You realize that slowing down doesn't mean falling behind. It means showing up with intention. Back. The most productive people aren't the busiest, they're the most focused. When you choose peace over performance, you stop comparing your timeline to others. You start understanding that your journey is unique. Back, and rushing it only leads to burnout. You stop chasing quick results and start building lasting impact. That's the difference between noise and legacy. One fades fast, the other endures quietly. Back. Choosing peace over performance doesn't mean you stop striving. It means you start striving from wholeness, not from lack. It means you don't chase validation to feel valuable. You know you already are. Back. It means you show up fully, not because you need to prove your worth, but because you want to honor it. When you operate from that space, your energy changes. Back, you attracted opportunities that match your authenticity instead of ones that demand your exhaustion. You learn that peace is the new success. It's the quiet power of knowing that even if no one's watching, back, you're still proud of who you are. Because at the end of the day, when it's real, it doesn't require performance. It requires peace. When you stop chasing, back, something magical happens. You create the space for what's real to find you. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. It's the quiet understanding that you don't have to force alignment for it to exist. Back. What's real has its own rhythm, and it meets you where you are when you're ready for it. Most people chase because they don't trust timing. They think slowing down means missing out. Back. But real things aren't fragile. They don't vanish just you take a breath. What's meant for you won't need to be begged for, manipulated, or chased down in desperation. Back. It will come when your energy matches its intention. You realize that when you stop controlling everything, you finally make room for what's truly yours to enter naturally. Letting real things find you doesn't mean you do nothing. It means you focus on becoming. You stop obsessing over outcomes and start investing in alignment. Back. You build yourself into the person who's ready to hold what they've been asking for. Because sometimes you don't have what you want, not because it's not meant for you, back, but because you're not yet equipped to sustain it. The waiting season isn't punishment, it's preparation. You learn to trust the pauses, the delays, and the detours because they're part of your becoming. Real things don't rush, they require roots. The deeper your roots, the more stable your growth. So instead of chasing surface level validation, you start cultivating depth. Back, you start living like someone who's already aligned with what they seek, and in that energy, realness finds you. When you stop chasing, you also stop settling. Chasing often comes from fear. The fear of being alone, overlooked, or left behind. But when you trust that what's real will meet you, you stop negotiating your worth for temporary comfort. You stop accepting almost, maybes, back, and half-effort love just because you're afraid nothing better will come. The truth is, when you chase what's not real, you block what is. Back, you fill your life with noise that keeps you from hearing what's meant for you. But when you let go, you make space for clarity. You start realizing that peace is a better indicator of alignment than intensity. What's real won't confuse you. It will ground you. What's real won't drain you. It will replenish you. And what's real won't disappear when you stop chasing. It will come closer. This truth also applies to opportunities and purpose. When you're constantly chasing recognition, you disconnect from authenticity. You start doing things for approval instead of impact. But real opportunities are drawn to real energy. They recognize consistency, clarity, and integrity. When you trust the process instead of forcing it, you attract opportunities that fit who you are not who you pretend to be. You learn to wait without giving up and move without losing direction. Real success doesn't come from chasing. It comes from alignment, preparation, and timing. Irony is that the moment you stop forcing outcomes, the right doors begin to open effortlessly. Because the universe, life, or whatever you believe in doesn't reward frantic energy. It rewards faith, discipline, and patience. Letting real things find you means surrendering control without losing intention. It's not passive, it's powerful. You're no longer trying to manipulate the timeline, you're learning to master your energy. You stop asking when and start asking, how can I become ready? Because readiness is magnetic. When you're in alignment with your values, your goals, and your peace, you start attracting things that mirror that energy. People feel it. Opportunities recognize it. Life responds to it. You no longer chase because you've built a sense of certainty that doesn't rely on external validation. That's when you realize, you were never meant to chase what's yours. It's been trying to find you all along. You just needed to be still enough to be seen. One of the most freeing lessons you'll ever learn is that what's real will never require you to abandon yourself. When you stop chasing, you stop compromising your peace to fit into spaces that weren't designed for you. You stop changing your tone, your worth, or your energy just to be accepted. You stop running toward people or places that make you question your value. Real things honor your boundaries. They don't punish you for having them. They don't require you to shrink. They meet you at your full size, your full strength, your full truth. And when you experience that, you can never go back to chasing illusions. You'll only accept what chooses you back with the same certainty you bring to the table. Trusting that what's real will find you also means being patient with the in-between. The waiting season is uncomfortable because it tests your faith. It makes you question whether what you want even exists. But patience isn't about doing nothing. It's about maintaining belief without losing peace. You use that time to grow, to heal, to prepare. You learn that peace is the best place to receive from. You understand that you don't manifest by running after things. You manifest by aligning with them. You stop trying to control outcomes because you trust that if it's meant for you, no one can take it away. You realize that what's truly meant for you won't require confusion. It will feel right even if it takes time. The beauty of letting real things find you is that they arrive when you're finally ready to appreciate them. You recognize them not by how fast they come, but by how calm they make you feel. There's no tension, no performance, no anxiety, just alignment. You stop questioning your worth because what's real reinforces it. You stop fearing loss because you understand that what's meant for you can't be lost. It can only be delayed until you're ready. That kind of peace changes the way you move. You no longer chase outcomes. You embody them. You no longer force connections, you nurture them. You no longer wait in desperation, you wait in faith. That's when everything begins to align naturally. When you start living from a place of trust instead of fear, your entire energy changes. You realize that life isn't a race, it's a rhythm. What's real flows toward you when you stop running in the opposite direction. You attract what matches your frequency, not what you chase in desperation. Take it back. You stop begging for opportunities and start becoming the opportunity. You stop chasing people and start connecting with those who see your value. You stop hustling for validation and start radiating authenticity. The shift is internal, but the impact is external. Your world rearranges itself around your peace. Because when you are at peace, you become magnetic to everything that's meant for you. And in the end, you realize that nothing real will ever require you to chase it. The people meant for you will meet you halfway. The opportunities meant for you will unfold in time. The love meant for you will stay, not because you begged it to, but because it belongs to you by design. You understand that peace is not the absence of pursuit. It's the presence of alignment. So you stop running after what's uncertain and start standing firm in your truth. You trust that what's meant for you will recognize you because what's real always knows where to find you. And when it does, you won't need to chase. You'll only need to receive it with grace and certainty, knowing it was yours all along.